Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show on KHS 1220 and 98.1 FM every single Thursday, 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific time on the West Coast. You've got the Ask Brien radio show. It's eighth year. Eighth year started in 2017, so we've been going 8 years and 2 months. Woohoo! All right.
Nice work.
And we have our co-host of the last couple of years, Traci. Traci, are you there?
I am here. I am very happy to be here. How is everybody?
Everybody's fine, and everybody also starts with an E. That's interesting.
It does.
All right.
It absolutely does.
So everybody wants to know why Ask Brien is spelled A-S-K-B-R-I-E-N, why it's not spelled A-N-Y-A-N or whatever other name, or why not Peter or Tracy or Alex? Why not? So we have a reason. You know, we may look, I don't know, I don't even want to use the words, but we may look that way, and we have reasons. We rationalize things out.
Oh, my goodness. God, just draw out the point, why don't you?
I am, especially since it's only once a month now with you. So we have to ask Traci the number one reason why Ask Brien is spelled with an E.
Well, the number one reason that Ask Brien is spelled with an E is because you have a fantastic engineer that puts up with all your eccentricities. How about that?
Oh, that's a
yes,
good
but
one.
it's not really. It's really antics, but that starts with an A.
Yeah, but that's just because I stunned you with the eccentricities. You weren't prepared for that new one. But
I
that
like
was
that
a good
one,
one, wasn't
yeah.
it, Jen?
Well, she's always
That's
asking
good.
me,
I
Eleanor,
like it.
what did you get me into?
You're elevating the show, Traci.
Yes, I'm always about elevating the show. That's
There's
why
another
we
E.
have such a great guest today, speaking of elevating, and I can't wait to bring
Well,
them
that's
on.
because
But
we're so
before
elated.
I do, we will talk about the fact that Ask Brien is also spelled with an E because of all of the experts that we do have on as guests, and today is no exception.
What is an expert?
An expert is actually, by definition, someone's definition that we borrow,
Borrow?
someone who has worked in their field for a minimum of 10,000 hours, which, oh my gosh, I haven't done this math in a month. So that means that you have invested approximately 40 hours a week over the course of 50-ish weeks a year. So that would take one approximately 5 years, but we know if you've ever done anything in the startup world that you're not spending 40 hours a week. You're spending more like what feels like 40 hours a day. And so that learning curve shortcut by probably 2 or 3 years. But anyway, we love our experts because they give us so much great education that can shortcut other entrepreneurs' learning curves, and that's what we're all about.
And what more? What other reasons?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I get pretty enthusiastic about all of the great conversations we have with our experts. What about you, Peter?
Excitement!
Oh.
And the other part of it, eardrums.
Eardrum, yes.
Yeah, eardrum
I know.
that I totally forgot to warn our fabulous guest about your eardrum.
Well, he might have
behavior.
tinnitus because of the ringing in his ear now, but we'll see.
Yeah, or he might have exited the studio, which is probably more likely to have had happen. But
Well, that's because nobody here
him.
wants to empathize.
Yeah, no, I.
You would have
am
told
full
him
of
if you're empathy.
True.
I'm full of empathy. You're full of something
You
else.
should have told the
Which
guest.
does not start with an E.
So how come you didn't tell the guest if he's such an
I'm
empathy?
trying to not turn the mic off, Traci. Just so you know, I choose to leave it up because that's the right thing to do. But really,
I mean,
it should just be turned off completely.
But turning off the mic would be egregious with an E.
Yeah. You with your
I mean-
fancy E's.
Clearly, Peter has gotten into the Red Bull today. So
Not
I am
exactly.
very scared.
I don't
is
see
not
any
an E either,
Red
but
Bull
I guess
and
it is
iced
technically
tea.
an E because it's an energy drink, which you are clearly not lacking of today.
No, but now, next time you're on the show next month, I will get a Red Bull because obviously
Oh, good.
I don't have enough.
Great.
I don't have enough energy. Another E. Energy.
Great. Looking forward to that one.
I will have nothing but empathy for Jen if you
Well,
bring a
no,
Red
Jen
Bull
just
into
wants
the
to know what day
studio.
that is so I can take off.
Yes. I feel a cold coming on.
Okay, let's please bring on our fantastic guest Larry because he is amazing and he has so much insight to share on entrepreneurship, and we just need to do that because he's here and we're here and it's going to be great.
And I heard he's excellent.
Yes.
Another E. All right, Larry, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks for having me. And I was thinking, actually, Traci, when you were mentioning 40 hours a week, that would be great because that would mean I'd get to sleep a little bit more. And sleep has 2 E's.
Oh my gosh, you're so right, and I completely agree with you.
Well, and also, entrepreneurs as well. Anyway, Larry, so people don't know anything about you right now other than our co-host and myself. So just give a quick, maybe 2-minute background on who you are and what company you have, and then we're going to get into the deep questions like 60 minutes.
Okay. My name's Larry Aldrich. I'm the president and CEO of BrennSys Technology, LLC. We go by BrennSys. At BrennSys, we started out providing marketing services and some technical services for the federal government, working on contracts that help the federal government function, specifically in the VA, where we worked with a lot of veterans we redid the website, the About Face website. It's a very important website for veterans with PTSD. Basically, on that website, and I'll make this really quick. I just think it's important. Basically, on that website, we redid the entire website. We managed the content. We interview veterans with PTSD, and we upload their videos and their stories on the website and onto YouTube. Just move on real quick. With BrennSys, we then acquired another small marketing business called Aqua Marketing Communications. I'm the president and CEO there also. We go by Aqua. Aqua is one of the leading destination tourism and hospitality marketing firms in Florida, and we've been moving outside of Florida to start doing destination marketing throughout the CONUS, continental United States, and eventually outside of the continental United States. We also do work on a lot of private sector marketing also.
So are you an ad agency?
We are a full service marketing and communication agency, yes. So in short, we are an ad agency, yes. We provide the full spectrum of marketing services.
So would that include social media, SEO, PPC, website development, all those things are included?
Yes, we have all of those verticals. We have a creative team. We have a social media team. We have a public relations team. We have an intel and website development team. We throw intel in there because of SEO, because of analytics. We all like to see analyze our statistics and see how our metrics are doing. So there's a lot of intel involved in that, especially today's tech stacks. So when you have a web development team, you kind of good to have a good intelligence director, I'll spell it all out. And so, yes, we do have that video production team. We have the full verticals, all of those spectrums.
And prior to starting this business, what was your background before that?
Prior to starting this business, my background, I went to the University of Pittsburgh to play football, tore my knee playing basketball, and joined the Air Force. And went back, finished my degree at the University of Pittsburgh. I got my MBA, and I went into sales. And I worked my way through sales. I helped a friend of mine start a business in Atlanta, Georgia, the Energy Link, and they're an energy company that started their growth in the energy deregulation area. So I started his marketing. Then I moved back to the Pittsburgh area, and then went to the D.C. area when I got into government contracting. Down there, I started working for a small women-owned business, started to help grow that firm, and started to get recruited. I moved on to Granite Telecommunications, a great telecommunications firm out of Quincy, up in Boston, And then I helped them. Actually, I started their government sector. They had they had one government contract with the Postal Service, and then I helped build that division. We won the GSA EIS contract. It was a very large telecommunications contract where we competed with Verizon, AT&T, and a few other telecommunication firms. So we won that contract. At that point, I started to get recruited by a few other firms. I moved over to Peraton, where I worked doing their business development and capture for communications and satellites. From there, I went to Splunk, and Splunk was a data company. There I did business development and mostly captures the intel work that you do surrounding business development. They separate those in the larger companies. In the smaller companies, business development and capture are pretty much one category. So while working at Splunk in the evenings, I started putting my business together. And right around the summer of 2022, I left Splunk and went off on my own at BrennSys and starting to put together some good contracts. Started in the VA because I'm a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business. So I use the VA to, just like a lot of veterans do, thousands of veterans actually use the VA and work at the VA because we love working with veterans. And we build our businesses there and then start to expand into other agencies. And that's where I am today. I wanted to take my expansion into other areas of marketing, into the private sector, and specifically into destination tourism and hospitality, because I love to go to amazing destinations and help them grow and actually just hang out at the beach.
Well, I think everyone likes to do that. Before we get specifically into that travel destination business, so you started this business, and it's very similar to an agency. You have a business development and sales background, but I don't know what your background is on website development, SEO, putting the creatives together, all that stuff. So how did you get a team together and hire people to get that part going?
Part of business development and capture on the federal side, it's all about strategy. It's all about putting together teams. Don't know how familiar you are on that side, on the federal side, but the federal government loves to work with industry when they partner with other companies. So a lot of federal contracts, you may have a prime and multiple subcontractors, or you may have a CTA. A CTA is basically when two companies basically prime together and they create what's called a CTA. You also have joint ventures. Joint ventures are when two companies kind of create a brand new company and create a name, but they take the resources from the same company, but they build another company. So all of the different vendors out there and people, entrepreneurs, have their own specialty. And it's great when you can take your specialty and someone else's specialty and combine them together and create a super specialty, so to speak. And the government loved working with those organizations that partnered well together. Even a lot of the large companies, your Booz Allens, your Northrop Grummans, they partner with small businesses. Small businesses run the country. Small businesses run the world, basically. And we win those larger contracts for the Booz Allens, the Boeings. Without us, they wouldn't have a lot of those specialties. So a lot of everything that they get come from small businesses. So doing that and getting that knowledge and that experience from the federal government, you learn it's about strategy. It's about getting the right people in the right places, going in the right directions at the right time. So with an MBA in marketing, no, I'm not a specialist in website development. I'm not an IT guru. I'm not a software developer, but I know how to find them. I know how to put them together and build a team. I know how to build a structure to move forward, to put together whether it's a good company or a good product or a good service, to provide that service to a Punta Gorda in Florida or to a Charlotte County in Florida or to a Visit Phoenix in Arizona to help them reach their goals and their mission and achieve the success that they're looking for.
So what differentiates your agency from any other agency? What makes you unique?
I like to say it's the people. The people, the passion. We have a lot of great people on our team. We come from a lot of various backgrounds. Again, if we're speaking with my company specifically, we have a strong background in federal procurement. We have a strong background in destination marketing. We have strong backgrounds working in marketing in other organizations. We kind of look at ourselves and we'll compare ourselves to other companies, and maybe compare is the wrong word, but we analyze who we are by working side by side with other companies and doing a lot of research. You have a lot of organizations out there that can do a lot of different amazing things and great things, but it's all about when you get the opportunity to stand out. And we are a highly award-winning company, Aqua Marketing Communications. Actually, we just won 3 more Adrian Awards, and we received those awards at the Marriott Marquis in New York City just last week. So it's about how you can show your client, your customer, how you can perform for them and be flexible enough to make adjustments. And it's not always about how you think it should be done. Sometimes, like, one of the first things we do is our discover process. We see what the customer's needs are, where the customer was, where the customer is, and where the customer wants to go. And working with the customer hand by hand, step by step like that, we can show value, and the customer gets to know who we are. We get to know who the customer is, instead of just coming with a in-the-box kit, so to speak.
So do you mostly handle small businesses or your clients medium-sized businesses or large?
Well, yes, we are definitely starting to work with small businesses. We know that what we offer can really help small businesses grow their business. We're also working currently, though, with destinations. I mean, Fort Lauderdale, Visit Florida is a campaign that we worked on, which was all of Southern Florida. The VA. The VA was one of the largest agencies, the second largest agency in the federal government. So we're very used to working with very large organizations on very large projects.
So what is the benefits for me to go and use your service as opposed to anyone else? That's what I'm trying to understand. You tell me the people,
Okay.
you tell me whatever, but I mean,
Tell you the what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear your last question.
you told me that your biggest differentiator is the people, right? But my question is,
Yeah.
I have a furniture store in Newhall, California, and I want to get on the web. Why would I go to you?
Well, where were you at? We are where you are. You would come to me because we're going to be a small marketing agency. I say small because we're not multi-million like some of them out there. We know you want to grow just like we want to grow. So we're going to grow with you organically, hand by hand, step by step. We're going to pay attention to your needs. We're going to give you a dedicated project manager, account manager. We're going to work with you as your business grows, and we're going to make adjustments. We're not just going to throw campaigns out there or ads or do social media posts that if we don't answer your customers or interact with your customers like a lot of agencies or people think they're doing when you're interacting or doing social media posts, but we're going to be part of your company. We're going to be your marketing arm. We're small enough and flexible enough to be by your side, to be your marketing arm, to work with you hand in hand.
Well, great. We're going to be taking a quick break. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show on KHS 1220 and 98.1 FM. We'll be right back.
To them, that's great because you can show them what you can do, how you can do it, build a relationship with them, show them your product or service, and how they can benefit from it. And then you also want to work with their leadership and market to their leadership. So in the federal government, you're going to a lot of conferences. There's a lot of conferences out there. Actually, the the Navy has a huge conference in San Diego every year. And that's a great conference. I've been there a few times. And it's also depending on who you target. The federal government's very large, and it's very hard to just go after everything and everyone. And these agencies want to know that you've done your research. So it's best to usually pick 1 to 5 agencies and do your research. Learn their mission. Get on their website. Understand what their mission is. Who they in that agency do they target? Easiest one to give you an example is the VA, the Veteran Affairs. They target, their mission is all about the veteran. You go into other agencies, whether it's NASA, whether it's IRS, you have to do a lot of legwork, a lot of research, and then you're waiting for what could come out, because then they come out to industry to find out information. They may put out an RFI, request for information. They may put out a sources sought where they're looking to see what type of companies are out there that can provide our services. And they'll put out what's called a statement of work or an SOW. And in that SOW, they'll have the scope of what they need done. Inside that SOW, they may have the tasks also of what you have to do to meet that scope. And those are the things that a lot of times it's great if you can get ahead of the game, where being ahead of it means getting that research, getting that RFI, getting that sources sought, maybe even getting a briefing with the contract officer, the small business liaison, or the program team, where you can now show them who you are, basically give them a company capability briefing. Then the solicitations come out, or they may have a conference that specifically for that solicitation is coming out. Depending on how big the contract is, it could go from the RFI sources sought stage right to a solicitation, or solicitation is another way of saying RFP, request for proposal. Then you write that proposal. Then it's a waiting game. On the other side, on the private sector side, it's the businesses like Brian's business that we were just speaking about earlier. You build that relationship with them. Sometimes they just let you know, hey, I need this. How are you going to help me? Especially in times where they have to compete with other companies. So how are you going to help me compete with other companies? That's where we really stand out and show our skill set. How is this woodworking company going to compare to the other woodworking company right down the street? A lot of that is marketing. We're going to market you. We're going to do either our organic social, our media buys, our content, your web page, your rebranding. We're going to have you stand out. We're going to put you out there in front of your target market. We're going to want your target market to walk through your door, to your target market to call you up for a consultation. And if we show and prove that we can do that, we get your business. We get to work with you. Not only do we want your business, we want to be part of your business. When I say part of your business, like I spent a few seconds talking to Brian earlier, we want to be your marketing arm. We're going to be there with you so we can make adjustments, so we can change our strategy when we see that the strategy has to change, because there's a lot of dynamics going on a regular basis. You can see that right now in the federal government. The dynamics are changing, so you have to be able to change to meet the different obstacles that are going to come your way. I mean, and we're no different. We have to change our strategy based off of what's happening on the federal side.
We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show on KHS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Now a word from our sponsor.
And we want to say thank you to LegalSteps.com, the sponsor of the Ask Brien show. These courses are pretty affordable, under $150. So you've had this great idea for months, maybe years, and you're kind of stuck on go and just don't know where to start, really. Don't let $150 get in the way of it, that's for sure. Spend the money on these courses, and you'll be so happy that you did. These courses, by the way, you can register to form a trademark, form an S corporation, form an LLC, and really kind of get that business going, the one, like I said, that you've been thinking about for many, many months. The experts at LegalSteps.com will kind of walk you through it. I like that you can see the expert on your screen, and you can see what they're looking at. So sometimes these legalese questions can get a little kind of confusing, especially if you're a newbie at it and you're just getting started. So when you see what your legal expert is talking about, you go, oh, okay, great. I know that I'm answering that question the right way. I clicked the form the right way, and we're good to go. If you get to the point where you're frustrated and you still don't understand what the heck's going on, the experts at Legal Steps will just do it for you. So you really have nothing to lose other than that $150. But you'll be so happy that you spent the money on that, because then you're going to have this amazing company that you've been dreaming about. All of these courses are reviewed by the experts, those attorneys at LegalSteps.com, who, by the way, like I said, have over 30 years experience, so you know you're in good hands. And the other great thing about it is that you can work at your own pace. You're not worried about somebody else's schedule. You can make it work for you. You've got kids, husbands, spouses, wives, dogs, another job, and you don't have time to worry about somebody else's schedule. So you can work at your own pace, work from the comfort of your own couch, and in less than 2 hours, complete a course. You can pause, rewind, take notes. It's really a beautiful thing. Go to LegalSteps.com and check out all the courses, LegalStepz, that's spelled with a Z.com.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, our sponsor.
You're welcome.
All right. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show on KHS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Sorry to interrupt you in your, if you have anything more you want to say on that subject. And Tracy, go for it.
Yeah, I was just thinking
actually,
Yeah, I think we're about to say the same thing. You go right ahead. I was going to say that was such a great way to transition into what I wanted to talk about, which is what is going on with government contracts right now.
Well, government contract, it's just things are just getting a little dicier. They're working on trying to do some government reduction. That's this. So with them doing that, we just have to be a little more picky on what, from a business development standpoint, what we're going after and what we're looking at on the government contract side. The government still has to function. The government's going to function. We're going to continue to be a part of the government functioning on contracts. That's what we do. That's what we've been doing. And we're going to continue to do that. We just have to, use your term again, pivot. And right now we're putting a little bit more attention into destination marketing and private sector marketing, helping those small businesses that are going to need help marketing. When you think about whether you believe in the market's going up or down, doesn't really matter. If it's going down, you still have a business. You still want your business to function. You still want your business to get through, to grow. And it's still going to be marketing. Might be more now, might be more in the upcoming years than it has been in a long time. People think, okay, if there's a market shift, it's going to change the dollars that I put into marketing. If there's a market shift, wouldn't say it's so much changing the dollars you put into marketing. It's the strategic decision and the strategic direction that you go in marketing. Because if you stop marketing, you stop getting seen. You stop being known. If you stop putting content out there, your impressions go down, your views go down. Someone else is going to have more impressions. Someone else is going to be seen more. Someone else is going to be viewed more. And in those times of need, that's who your customer base is going to go to. So marketing is going to have to stay, and it's going to have to stay strong in your plan moving forward as a small business, medium-sized business, and even large business, obviously. So we will be putting a lot more effort into destinations, getting out there in front of the destinations, marketing. Actually, I have an e-tourism destination conference coming up in Vegas. Pretty excited to get there. I'll be sitting on a panel with them in Vegas in April. Small businesses, we're starting to work with a lot of small businesses. Like I said, I started with a friend who started his small business in the energy sector. He's at a point now where his business just flows. He plays golf all day, every day now. He has automated.
I'm jealous.
He automated his business so well. He's making money while he's on the golf course.
Now that's the dream for every entrepreneur, I swear.
Yes, it is. I'm like, wow, when do I get there?
Well, that's because you keep buying new businesses, and so you keep adding new people, new team members, new systems. But I think you like the entrepreneurial life doing that, though. Wouldn't you agree?
I like this. It's a headache. I like the challenge. I don't know why. It's sitting there piecing puzzles together, and that challenge and that competition. You don't win them all, but you're trying to be a part of as much as you can. And if you're a business owner, you really need to get out and network. Networking is huge. You meet a lot of great people. I met you, Traci. I'm here today because I met Traci by networking.
Yes, and I'm very grateful for that.
We're going to be taking a quick break. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show on KHS 1220 and 98.1 FM. We'll be right back. Go ahead.
Well, there's a question that I wanted to ask you, Larry. And when you were talking before about the difference between procuring the contracts with the government contracts versus, pitching and closing scopes with private sector, there seemed to be what appeared to be a very long waiting period. So with the government contract. So my question is, if you're a small business owner and you want to get these government contracts, how do you manage cash flow, especially if you're a startup and a small business, to wait out this literal waiting period of all these hoops that you go through? How do small businesses, how can they even compete and be able to stay in business in order to get into the system to get these good contracts?
It's a struggle. It really is. And if you're small business and you're just getting into federal procurement, one of the best avenues to take, network and get with some of the larger companies or some of the other small businesses and get on some of their contracts as a subcontractor, especially if you have a good skill or service or product. It's definitely going to be needed. In the federal space, they need everything, just like out in the civilian world. It's screws, pipes, hammers, marketing, fishing, believe it or not, digging ditches, building fences, whatever it is you do, the federal government's going to buy it, and they probably have to buy it. So getting in, starting out, probably doing subcontracting, but you have to network to do that. Now, there is a long period. I don't know what your cash flow is like, but if you have a line of credit, that's good to work with some good banks to have funding. Honestly, the best way to do it, if you have that kind of skill and service, is to do it on the private sector also. Don't just sit and wait on the federal government. Yes, you could be waiting on a proposal for 6 months. You could be Actually, we just got an presentation to go into libraries and museums. We have a presentation coming up in March on a proposal we sent November 12th. We just got an email for presentation 2 days ago. And a presentation at the end of March, we sent in a proposal the beginning of November. So you can't sit around and wait on one. You also have to continue to put in proposals. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. If you're putting in a certain amount of proposals, you want to make sure you're putting in enough to have a decent win percentage. We call that a P-win. But in all honesty, to be able to best manage cash flow, you have to be flexible enough to sell your product and service in the private sector also, where it moves a little faster.
Well, those are such great insights, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that there are going to be so many people who are listening to this, watching it, listening to it, and want to likely get in touch with you to find out more information about all the things that you shared. What is the best way for people to reach out to you if they want to do that?
Best way to get a hold of me is go to BrennSys.com, BrennSys.com. That is our BrennSys website, and just click Contact Us. Click Contact Us, fill in your information. It'll come to me. Also, go to aquatalks.com. That is our landing page for our podcast, which is Aqua Talks. Please feel free to register. Please listen to our podcast. We have a lot of great information, a lot of great hosts. Actually, we're going to have Traci there at the end of this month. It's going to have a lot of more great information to talk about. I'm looking forward to that call, Traci. So aquatalks.com and BrennSys.com.
And I will shout out that you have episode number 3 of your Aqua Talks podcast, specifically a deep dive on the government contract procurement, which is a fascinating episode. So if you want more information on that, you can definitely check out the Aqua Talks podcast and that episode number 3 for sure. And speaking of podcasts, Ask Brian's back catalog of all of these amazing interviews you can find wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. That's the Ask Brian podcast. And Peter, I'm just certain you probably have a burning desire question left in you.
No, I'm a very shy introvert. I don't know who you are, what's going on. Okay. So we've got about a minute and a half left. We don't have a lot of time. So the only question we have left is, what was the biggest challenge in starting this business? And you got a minute. Go ahead.
Biggest challenge starting this business was getting in. Actually, it was getting in the federal contract. It's a very competitive field, and I would say the best way to do that is to get a job with, if you're not starting a business, get a job with one of the contractors. If you do have a business, get with someone that has experience, someone that's been doing it, that can walk you through it. I've helped a few people get in, meaning how to start your registrations, how to start getting seen by the federal government, how to start getting noticed, how to start putting your business products and services out there the best way. It's very hard to do it by yourself. There are a lot of free services out there, like a PTAC, Professional Technical Institute, which helps for federal contractors. But again, you won't know that information unless you're talking to a small business owner or a business owner that's already providing services to the federal government. And it's free to talk to someone.
Well, thank you very much. You listen to the Ask Brian Radio Show on KHS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Thank you for today's show. Over and out.